Today on Podcast Them Down, we finish our analysis of the metalness of each event of the Winter Olympics. I'm Tim Regan from American power metal band Burning Shadows, dual violin folk metal band Eisenmore, Fade to Black Metallica tribute, and recently vacated Graves true zombie metal. You're listening to Podcast Them Down. You have already subscribed because you're not a fucking poser. That's our first fuck of the evening or episode or whatever. I'm joined by Matt of Podcast Them Down fame, Doug, also of Podcast Them Down fame, Dave from Eisenmore and Burning Shadows, and Mike from Eisenmore and recently vacated Graves. True zombie metal. We've done probably about half of the Olympics. The Winter Olympics, that is, which I believe are just starting whenever this airs. I'll probably schedule it strategically. So, up till now, we've talked about the biathlon, bobsledding, luge, curling, and ice hockey. We're going to round it out with all the skating events and the, 80 skiing events. Does anyone have anything to add before we plow through? And fuck you, Mike. So
I like the plow.
As Mike pointed out during the break, we our fuck meter has reset, so we can say fuck quite a few more times, but it does demonetize us from YouTube. So so there goes all of our lucrative advertising money. So,
what a fucking shame.
Yeah, it's fucking bullshit is what it is. All right, so should we just go ahead and dive in?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Let's skate in.
All right, yes. Let's skate in with the first. The next three events are all the skating group. I believe this is all done on the same rinks as ice hockey, so hopefully they have a good Zamboni driver, because the first one is figure skating. So, we all know what figure skating is. It's, dancing and twirling and so forth on the ice.
Fair bit of posing required.
Yeah. And then the scoring is totally arbitrary. It's mired in tradition. They don't like it when you are different in any way. You get harshly judged for the smallest of mistakes. The people judging could never accomplish what you've accomplished. And back in the 90s, around 94, they tried to add some random violence into figure skating. So with all of that in mind, I would say figure skating is surprisingly metal. I mean, they also have you do your figure skating routine along with some music, right? And often it's classical, because again, we are mired in tradition. You cannot be different. You can add another twirl. Well, that's about it. And if you fuck it up, that's it.
Yeah, stay
You're
in that fucking
done.
box.
That's
you
right.
know what a triple axel is. Yeah, and I have to give Tim kudos for tying the Tanya Harding, Nancy Kerrigan thing into the global conspiracy that we know exists. We don't know what they was behind it, but it was a they. It was not Tanya Harding.
Mm-hmm. And, figure skaters essentially ruin their bodies young. So, the rest of their life, they live with these traumatic injuries for a long time. So I would say this figure skating's surprisingly fucking metal, but in the grand scheme of things, is it as metal as going down an ice track face first? Probably not. So I'm going to have to give it a 7.77 for its metalness.
I'm trying to remember and skeleton and all that, how's the scoring done?
Time.
I think it's just time.
Just
That's
time. Okay, so there isn't an anti-democratic element. There isn't a cabal. Yeah, and then you wait for all the counting to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, this is definitely a sport
Doug. I hear you.
Where you finish and the counting has to be done. That is a great point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going to go with an 8. No further justification offered.
All right, how about Dave?
Well, speaking of the cabal aspect of this, I didn't realize that the judging was arbitrary. I thought it was directly proportional to the bribe amounts and corruption at the wrong time. Maybe.
Corruption is metal.
Corruption's pretty metal. And the thing I wanted to draw attention to is the outrageous, and I mean outrageous, and exquisite at times, costuming that we get to feast our eyes upon in the figure skating. Singles, doubles, ice dancing, all of it is just over the top in ways that the most glamorous and showy of metal entertainers could only dream of being.
So the figure skating costumes are basically corpse paint for the Olympics.
Essentially, that's my contention.
I love it.
Rainbow corpse paint for the Olympics. Actually, I feel like Ailstorm would fit very well into the overall aesthetic qualities of the figure skating costumes.
By the way, I was about to say fuck Ailstorm, but Matt was absent, so I need to tell him we've said fuck quite a few times.
So fuck.
We're already fucking running out of fucks, and we've already been demonetized.
Travesty.
Yeah, it's some bullshit.
So yeah, I think Tim, you're on the right track, but I'm gonna drop it down to a 7.2 because I like the way that sounds, and that's how they score figure skating.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, I think an 8 is appropriate here because of the Tanya Harding, Nancy Kerrigan thing, especially because that event alone ruined Nancy Kerrigan's aspirations of being a gold medalist, if I recall.
And
correctly.
her ankle.
Oh. Yeah. So, figure skating can be inextricably linked with the complete and utter devastation of a dream. And I think that's pretty metal. In addition to all the previous points. So, yeah, 8.
So,
Matt.
Figure skating is extremely metal. I think we've heard 4 very good explanations as to why. But a key part of figure skating is a frustrating low score, a score much lower than it should be, which in the spirit of figure skating, which is why I'm giving it a 2.5.
Wow. All right, next up, short track sped skating.
Spaped skating.
Spaped. Yeah.
I suspect there's a typo here.
I heard that some of the Ganfers train at short tracks is spaped skating in the off season. That's how they get that explosive start off the blue line.
That's right. For those not aware, I'm right the first time. I do not correct mistakes because there are none.
And that's pretty metal of you.
Yeah, metal as fuck. So in our in the little pictogram for short track spaped skating, there's 2 guys spaped skating, and they even drew on the ridiculous fucking helmets.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can I ask a brief question?
Yes.
Should we judge this on its intended sport, or should we just invent what spaped skating is and judge that instead?
I would say the intended sport in Wikipedia is wrong. So Wikipedia, for some reason, spells it short track speed skating.
Yeah,
so,
but that's incorrect.
That would be, this is false.
Right. So in this, Basically, you skate real fast, wearing special skates, dressed dressed in a ridiculous outfit, and wearing an even more ridiculous helmet and ridiculous glasses. It's all ridiculous. All of it.
Like the kit for sped skating is what Malcolm's dad wore when he was race walking.
That's right.
In Malcolm in the Middle.
That's right. I like the reference.
And for any cycling fans, the helmets are akin to the specialized time trial helmets engineered for maximum aerodynamic efficiency.
Yeah, sped skating is basically just a human velodrome.
Right.
complete with the weird angles.
It seems pretty power prog to me. Like break out the 7-string guitar and the fretless bass, put on stupid costumes.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that. But I would say, that's the other thing. There is a risk of injury, risk of falling, but they put pads at the end, so it's not really that bad. You land in the downy soft pillows at the end of the rink. So I'm going to give short track sped skating a 4. I don't think it's that metal. I don't think it's not that metal. Doug made some good points. Speed is metal, but short things? The only short thing that was metal was Dio, and he's no longer with us.
Oh, beautiful. Just beautiful.
I'm looking briefly here at the rules of speed skating.
Speed skating?
Sped skating. And one of the ways you can get disqualified is did not skate. The skater did not go to the starting line, which basically means we're all always failing in a match of sped skating, which I like because I didn't go to the starting line. I didn't even buy skates. I'll give it a 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm feeling kind of inclined to agree on this same track. There's just, it doesn't hold my interest. It's not, I've never found sprints of any sort to be all that engaging. I would rather watch like a moderate length race.
Yeah.
Where there's some time for strategy and positioning, and it's not just like balls to the wall, though metal, till the finish line.
Right. And it doesn't have that self-hypnosis type quality either. Right? It's too fast to really appreciate. I feel like it's one of those sports where if you do it, you know how hard it is and you know all the intricacies, but as a spectator sport, it's just unsatisfying.
Yeah, and there's an element of randomness to it as well. Like, there's the smallest mistake can spell doom for the entire field.
Exactly.
So maybe an additional. I was gonna rate it like a 3.5, but I'm gonna go 4.5 because of that element of like fatal chance. Not literally, but to your race aspirations.
I don't know. I'm revising. It feels like the new metal of the Olympics. Because
Go on.
Short, but like try listening to that Mudvayne song "Dig." Again, kind of technically complicated for new metal, but at like 3 minutes 19 seconds is borderline too long. Like one of these races. Yeah, they got the silly costumes. Yeah, so speed skating's like new metal.
I love that you brought up Mudvayne. I hadn't thought about them in a very long time. Did you know I saw Mudvayne open for Slipknot at the 930 Club in 2001, and they had pyrotechnics indoors. I was like 15 years old, 14, 15. It was fucking amazing.
I think the first show I ever went to was at the 930 Club. It was Seven Dust, Gravity Kills, and Flaw.
Metallica.
There you go, Tim.
There you go, Tim.
I wasn't allowed to go to the tour in '98 at US Air Arena.
That was 97, and yeah, it's where the Capitals played when they were great. Not where they played later when they were also great. This episode brought to you by the Washington Capitals.
That's where the Bullets played when they won their championship.
That's right.
Yeah, no, it's my point was it's so much better than whatever they call it now.
Yeah,
It's like a dark black pit.
There's nothing. The shops at the Boulevard at Capitol Center Boulevard shops.
That
Ooh.
that is a good point, Matt. And we do have to go to whenever the Wizards do a Bullets night again.
Yes.
Yeah, they do that. So, but that's basketball is a Summer Olympics sport, and we're talking about the Winter Olympics. So, let's get it back on track with the next event.
I
saw your score. I thought you were done.
I don't think did I say it?
It didn't.
Go for it. I see what your score is. I'm not going to be surprised by what you say.
Yeah, it's just a 4. I agree with what everybody else has said. I just wanted to
I'm glad we stopped the show for this.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
But for everyone in Metal Nation listening, it is important to check all the boxes, be pedantic, be thorough.
Well, and Mike's being transgressive because everyone knows you don't have to justify a 4.5, but he's like, fuck you. I have nothing to say, but I'm going to say that.
That's right. Yeah. Fuck yeah, Mike. I take back my 4
Matt, must be acknowledged.
Matt, I take back my fuck yous from the last episodes. That was a stutter. That doesn't count as 2 fucks, but now
we just got some in the bank, though.
Yeah, we got some back.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
In the fuck bank.
Wow.
All right.
Now I'm envisioning like a downtown bank that's no longer a bank, that's been renovated into the hot noon night spot.
The fuck
bank.
You ever see a George Carlin joke? He's talking about hotels. He calls it like they call him something cute. He goes, I call it the sleep and fuck. That's what it. Fuck. Fuck bank. Fuck bank.
Oh, Lord.
All right. Speed skating is next.
Speed skating.
It's as much different from Spapeds.
It is different than short track Spaped skating. And the little pictogram, the dude's not wearing the douchey helmet.
And he's not going nearly as fast.
No, he's clearly going slower.
It kind of looks like he's both walking and booping.
It looks like he really needs to get to the bathroom. That's effectively he's got an issue.
Yeah, it does.
That is good alignment for your bowels. Ejection from them. Yeah.
So, I believe this is similar to the short track Spaped skating. But now there's long tracks. And, so it's the same thing, only longer. And, that's probably more metal,
I would actually say it's worse.
All right, so I'll give it a higher score, and you give it a lower score, and we'll cancel each other out. I'll give it a 5.
Up,
no. I'm giving it a 5 in good faith that you're going to give it a lower score. All right. Someone else go.
I should give it a way higher score now, just to fuck with everyone. That
would be pretty metal of you, Mike.
So I'm reading an answer on Quora, and the question is. Is speed skating hard to learn?
What is speed skating?
Speed skating. I would say that learning to speed skate does take some time, but it's not overly hard.
I mean, there are objectively hard sports, right? Like, is soccer harder than hockey? No. One involves running and probably not even touching the ball. And I can see how speed skating would be among like the easier skills to learn. Like those skates are long as hell. Like,
Yeah.
I imagine they are easy as fuck to balance on. And yeah, I can see that. But of course, like not to take away from the mastery required to be decent at any technically easy sport. I mean, look at curling. I couldn't be an Olympic curler, and I can drink and throw stones just fine.
I think that's an argument that you could indeed be an Olympic curler.
No, in fact, he can't because you don't know this, but Dave lives in a glass house.
Well, and as we established, podcast them down is not sending a delegation.
Yeah,
to this
no, that's true.
China Olympics.
There's no official representation.
Boycotting this year.
Doping scandal led to us being disqualified.
So, I mean, it's marginally better than short track saped skating. So I guess I'll give it a 4.
Is an entire point marginal?
Yes.
20,
Fuck you, Tim.
20% margin in this case. I mean, 25. I mean, 33. I don't know.
It's
I can't
less
math.
than
You
the
can't math.
it's less than the standard deviation so far.
That's true.
Fair.
Wait, never mind.
It's actually bigger than the standard deviation.
Fuck.
I don't see it in my
argument
window.
stands.
We can't math.
All right. Well, you're just kind of blindly hurling yourself, trusting that the razor's edge keeps you on the turn for no purpose other than to go fast.
You just wrote a Manowar song.
Yeah,
Fuck
you
yeah.
did.
So
That's
5.
pretty metal.
It was the go
Wow.
fast that nailed it. Like, oh, yeah. That's a very Man-O-War way of putting that desire.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that speed skating, to me, appeals largely because of the prowess of a certain Johan Olaf Koss, known as the Boss.
Cost
In
the boss.
Norway, who, that's the man.
I love where
was
this is going. I know exactly
gold
where
medalist-
this is going. And if it doesn't go there, I'm
golden
going to
medal.
be very upset and I'm going to keep talking over you. Go ahead.
Did you know
You know, I
that his,
was-
Boss?
I was going to say that Cost the Boss, his scores in speed skating has a Gaussian distribution.
That's right. I should have mentioned at the top of the episode, you damn well better listen to the first one before you listen to the second one. All right, go ahead, Dave. I won't talk over you, I promise.
I'm in Norway. Johan Olaf Koss the Boss was born in the same municipality where Emperor
Nice.
began their rehearsals and grew to prominence. And made a very large impression on me as a child because watching the Lillehammer Olympics in 1994, the home crowd lost their shit. Like, what was it? He won gold in Lillehammer in the 1500 meters. So, super long track. That's the longest race that they run in speed skating. And as he is clearly coming into the final couple hundred meters, and it's obvious that he's going to be the one to win. And the way they skate also, it's these long loping strides, and they look super relaxed. Like they got one hand on their back, one arm like pumping for momentum, super relaxed. And as it becomes clearer and clearer that he's going to win, the crowd gets louder and louder, and they start waving their flags, and they just went nuts. And it was a very kind of like when Ray Bork won the Stanley Cup, finally, that kind of moment. It was just a wonderful sports moment to watch. Does that make it metal? I'm not sure. So I think...
I don't want to ruin your story, Dave, but the word
do it.
"lope" kind of triggered me.
Oh, yeah?
I also want to confess that I wasn't paying much attention because I was imagining that Lillehammer would be a great name for an all-girl Hammerfall cover band.
God damn. That's too good.
It is too good.
Only plays Hammerfall 1997 to 2009.
Do we just hand out a perfect band name in every episode? I feel like we do.
That should be our new thing. But
that's why people should be listening and subscribing to the Patreon.
That's right.
What's triggering about Lope? The fact that they're not actually running?
Lope just doesn't feel very... use
not
Lope
fucking metal.
in a metal context.
The cute bunny loped across the meadow.
I agree that the actual...
the troll crossed the snowy plain in long, loping strides.
Ooh, that's a pretty metal sentence.
Lead of foot, but not of mind. Or something. Yeah. But I get you. I hear you. Maybe it was a little overly loquacious.
I would say that Lope is much metaler than Cantor.
For sure.
I feel like Mike's watching a clock. Because I would be too.
I am going to say speed skating, I'm going to give it a 2. The reason being, with death metal in particular, I actually prefer the songs to be shorter than longer. Now, if we're going into progressive metal, I prefer a longer, longer songs. But with something that's supposed to be kind of intense, I want it to be shorter because I just want it to get to the point and punch me in the face and move on. And I feel like speed skating is like Opeth. It's just too long, and it doesn't need to be anywhere near as long as it is. It's just kind of masturbating itself. It's going on. And maybe you get my opinion of Opeth.
Wow.
At the same time, Mike, isn't that pretty metal?
Good point. To waste time?
It's like the formula for a Dream Theater song where everyone has to get an instrumental solo before, in the interlude before the song starts.
Yeah, but I think it's dependent on what you're trying to do. And like for something speedy, I feel like you're trying to just get to the end. But with something like Dream Theater, if it's a Dream Theater would be to figure skating, I think. Whereas like speed skating or spaped skating is we've established.
It depends on the length of the
properly
stride.
called.
Yeah. Right. I mean that's like a Cannibal Corpse is to speed skating and Dream Theater is to figure skating. I think that's how it really should be. So you don't want a long Cannibal Corpse song.
I see speed skating more as gamma ray.
Interesting.
Interesting.
It may just be speed skating and speed metal. All right, what's the average length of a gamma ray or a Halloween song?
Probably 4 to 5 minutes is my guess.
How long does a suicidal hurdle around a track last?
I don't know. That's a good question.
About as long, I'd say.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah, maybe about that long. They're not like super long races in terms of time.
But no, to Mike's point, it's just a fucking loop. Who cares?
That is a fantastic point. You're going to deduct half a point because it is a loop. And in fact, I'm going to deduct that track, that half point from short track spaped skating as well.
Wow.
The reason.
That was persuasive. Fuck.
If I could give Doug another metal point, I would. But that's a different episode. Are we done? Should we move on to skiing?
Move on to the ski.
That's it for skating.
All right, let's do skiing. There's like a million skiing events. Clearly, we'll do them in alphabetical order. The most metal of all orders, except for most other orders. But let's start with Alpine Skiing, which already has a metal name to begin with. So, Alpine Skiing is going down a mountain on skis. And I feel like you could just call it skiing. Because when I think skiing, that's what I think of. You're on a mountain, and you're going down that mountain. But they had to make it more metal by calling it Alpine Skiing. And for those who have been using Windows for decades, like us, you know that if you're skiing down a mountain, there is a very good chance of a Yeti at some point trying to attack you. Which is also
inevitable.
Uh-huh. And
was it a Yeti or a snowman?
I'm pretty sure it was a Yeti. So anyway, that aside, yeah, I think this is metal. You know, certainly more metal than skating in a circle. So, is it more metal than figure skating? Yeah, there's probably still a chance of injury. You know, you could go lighthearted with it and say you could have, you should have French fried, but your pizza, you know, that's kind of fun. But
There's a hell of a chance of injury.
yeah, didn't it take out Sonny Bono?
So yeah, so as a category, so not as an individual event, but as like a larger group, skiing also has 2 Olympic deaths.
Wow.
The only other sort of class to have multiple deaths.
God,
Let's count horses, because horses die all the goddamn time.
Okay, well, I'm gonna.
got JFK Jr. Unless it didn't.
No, that was a plane, Doug. That was a plane.
Was he wearing
also,
skis though? Was he wearing skis? Was it a pontoon plane which also has skis?
I have it on pretty good authority. He faked his death and will be at Dealey Plaza next year.
All right, well, I'm going to give Alpine Skiing an 8. It's pretty metal, but there's room for improvement. But there's also a lot of room for it not to be metal. But, you know, fucking snow-covered mountain, that's metal as fuck. Right.
Yeah, I agree with that 8. It's metal. You're putting 2 pieces of wood on your feet and sliding down a mountain to certain doom.
Well, it's probably composite, but...
Shut up. It's gonna be it's gonna hurt your back, it's gonna hurt your legs, you're gonna get a TBI, that's a traumatic brain injury for you. You're gonna have to have your jaw wired shut. And then your friends are gonna be drinking cocoa the whole time.
Yeah, to be clear, I'm gonna give it an 8 as well. To be clear, I'm already factoring in the use of composite materials, but yeah, at the end of the day, you're just hurling yourself down a mountain and then dealing with it, and the dealing with it being preserving your own life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
metal.
I don't know that there's much I could add here. I think 8 sounds about right.
All right, Dave. Alpine Skiing.
Well, I think 8 sounds reasonable.
Wow, we have a standard deviation of exactly 0. That's amazing. Straight 8s. All right, let's move on.
Straight 8 student.
cross country skiing. So if you're going to take up cross country skiing, you got to start with a thin country like Chile. That was my dad joke. Anyway, well, first of all, if you look at the pictogram and if you looked at all the pictograms and you said, which one of these pictograms would you describe as frolicking? The only one is the cross-country skiing one, where you go, that stick figure is frolicking. There's nothing metal about...
That stick figure is frolicking.
There's nothing metal about frolicking. There's nothing metal about cross-country skiing, because you should be hurling yourself down a mountain, and as we'll find out later, maybe being upside down. So, fuck cross-country skiing. There is nothing metal about it, and I will go as far as saying this is the least metal event, and I'm going to give it a 0.
Ooh.
Wow.
I don't like to get tired while I'm watching sports on TV, and somehow cross-country skiing just exhausts me.
It's the walking of the Winter Olympics.
It's the, like, burdened walking. It's the over-encumbered walking. It's, like, it's a slog. You have to ski uphill at times. I can't watch it and enjoy watching it. And everybody who comes to the end of a cross-country skiing race looks as though they've run 3 marathons. Like, collapse in the snow afterwards. Yard sale of their equipment. It's too much for me. And I guess I'll give it a 1 for the tangential exhaustion of having to keep up with what is metal, even, in relation to sport.
Yeah, I think a 1 is about appropriate. I mean, it's long and it's boring, and if you ask me if I'd rather watch like speed walking or cross country skiing, I'd have to sit and think about it. And I think that's a bad sign, So yeah, a 1.
Yeah, I'll go with a 1. What irritates me is the practical drift between the original purpose of this activity, which was to get from place to place, possibly to kill things.
Right, because half the time you got your rifle with you.
Right. Now it's a sport. And it's just stupid. If you need to get from A to B, there are better ways to do it, unless you're shooting things or part of an army. If you're on military patrol, yeah. 1.
About the only relevant time, right?
Mm-hmm.
On those military ski patrols.
Whereas your dog sleds, whatever.
Why don't we have Olympic dog sledding?
That would be incredible.
Because you can't give dogs medals.
Why not?
There's horse shit.
Yeah, there's dressage in the original Olympics.
Okay, yeah, I retract my statement. You were absolutely right. I totally agree with you now. I apologize. No, I don't apologize, but I will admit I made an error, which is a first for me. This is the first time it's ever happened.
You deserve a medal.
So this is a historic moment, Metal Nation. I hope you're taking notes.
Deserve medals, all of us.
I'm going to take a medal point away from Tim.
Because he's apologizing?
Well, even admitting, the thing would just be to state what is accurate without retracting your previous statement.
Doug makes a great point, and because of that, I'm going to award him the medal point he took away from me.
So, unfortunately, I was going to give cross-country skiing a 1, but that medal point was just given to Doug, so I have to give it a 0.
All right, let's keep it moving so everyone forgets what just happened.
What just happened?
Huh? Exactly.
What is freestyle skiing?
Freestyle. Okay.
Freestyle skiing. Oh. It's skiing on your head if you look at the pictogram.
Yeah, right. This is clearly somebody who has died.
Freestyle skiing. All right, picture the X Games. You're on a BMX. You're doing flips. There's a half pipe. There's a course. You're probably going to break something. Okay, you got that in your head?
Yeah.
You're on skis and that course is on a mountain. That's fucking freestyle skiing.
Nice. All right.
It's it's basically a video game in real life. So
I know the sport now that the term has been defined. Like
you're spinning, you're flipping, you're twisting. You're probably
it's your Olympic X Games.
If you fuck up, you will most likely be seriously injured for the rest of time. It's more metal than alpine skating, which is going down the mountain. Now you're going down the mountain and you're upside down quite often. So I'm going to give this a 9.
I'm going to challenge you.
Oh, yeah? Please do.
There is nothing metal about freestyle as we established in the Summer Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want, a DJ up on the stage with burning shadows? Freestyle rhymes.
I see where you're coming from, but you're wrong, Doug.
Nope.
I'm not even going to entertain it. You're just wrong, and you can't change my mind.
Well, even though he can't change your mind, Doug is 100% correct. Freestyle skiing gets a 0. Freestyle skiing is new metal. It's punk rock. It might even be like Skrillex style EDM, but it is not metal. Metal is the regimented nature of cross-country skiing and shooting something. It is not doing what you feel like.
Just think about what kind of music these athletes are listening to as they freestyle.
All right, I actually lean more towards Tim with my thinking here. I think that you're on a mountain. There's threat of death. However, I'm going to give it a 5, and the reason is I feel, and I don't know what predates what, but this is just in my head. I feel like what happened is that snowboarding happened, and then there were some skiers who were like, I want to do that. So then they started doing it. So I feel like this is freestyle skiing is like the midlife crisis for skiers who want to act like they're snowboarders. That's what I think it is.
So you're saying it's skiers posing as snowboarders?
Yes, that's my assertion.
Posing is pretty not metal.
Yeah, it's true.
As I think we've established. And I gotta be honest, there's nothing metal about the aesthetic. And that's the overwhelming thing for me. Like when I see freestyle skiing, I think about playing SSX, for example. Granted, that's a snowboard game. But
exactly.
We'll get there.
The whole soundtrack of all of that just this is not metal to me. But for the danger element, it's getting 2.378 points.
But
we're rounding. We only have 2 significant digits. Fine. 2.37. I mean 3.
I can up the sig figs, Dave.
No, it's fine. 2.37 is fine.
Precision is metal, as we know.
Yep.
I should
Accuracy is not.
with regards to freestyle skiing, let's say Monster Energy Drink is going to sponsor something, but they can't do snowboarding. What's their second choice? Cross-country skiing? No. Luge?
Figure skating.
Probably not.
Maybe.
Doubt figure skating. They're probably going to look at freestyle skiing. Now,
well, the thing is figure skating is more metal than freestyle skiing.
Yes, but Monster doesn't know that. Monster thinks freestyle skiing is more metal. And who has a collection of Monster Energy apparel and even a tattoo on his wrist? Tim the Ripper Owens. You know it. I know it. You know, they are of one mind. Tim Owens, the Ripper, is going to think that freestyle skiing is pretty metal, based entirely on the sponsorship opportunity of his favorite sugary energy drink. So, I'm staying with my 9 because it was correct.
I mean, he's pretty solidly correct there.
All right, let's move on. So, I realize the order doesn't make sense here with the last 3, but we're going to keep it because I was right the first time. So, the next event is Nordic Combined, which is prancing in the snow, also known as cross-country skiing, and ski jumping. So it's both of them. And I guess they add the scores together somehow. But you can do something awesome, and you can ski to the grocery store. So it has a great name, Nordic Combined. That sounds awesome. But then the reality of the matter is, there's cross-country skiing. So it needs to be heavily penalized for that. So I'm going to give it a 3.
So I think that's unfair as well. So
what's unfair is the promise of an event called Nordic Combined, and then half of it is. But
I would remind you that an entirely metal sport, the biathlon, also involves cross-country skiing,
which I gave a 3. So I also gave this. So it seems like cross-country skiing is fucking cancer. Because it ruins awesome events.
Jesus Christ.
Tim gets a medal point.
Man, Tim gets 2 medal points. Well, I was going to give this a 5, but I'm just so afraid to give it anything higher than a 3, because Tim's going to come over and kick my ass. I'm just going to give it a 3.
Everyone else put their 3s in so we can move on.
Yeah. I won't even point out the moral hazard of scoring this before ski jumping itself, but 3.
I'm giving it a 5.
Oh my God.
Fuck you, Mike.
Yeah.
Think this over, Mike. You're a father, for God's sake.
So I feel like Nordic Combined is like the parkour of skiing. Like you're just kind of skiing around and you find a jump and then you do a jump and then you keep skiing.
If only.
And there's something very utilitarian about that I like. You know what I mean? Like, you're not just showing off your endurance. You're just kind of wandering around and then just jumping.
See, you have a much happier origin story. I imagine it as someone who's cross-country skiing and realizing how horrible his life is and just committing suicide. But then through a twist of fate, just flips up in the air instead of... whoa! And he's like, I just invented a sport.
Just acts nice.
Can I ruin this further for you, Mike?
Yes.
That isn't how it works. It's simply cross-country skiing and ski jumping, excuse me, by the same person.
Wait, what?
Yes.
It's not at the same time?
Oh no, it's just it's the same athlete doing different events on usually different days.
So, do you just
It's not like you're cross-country skiing up to the top of the ski jump and then skiing down the ski jump and going to your next cross-country landing. That would be fucking bad.
It's lamer than the biathlon, which almost has a gun in it.
Oh my God, this is a 1.5.
Wow.
And that might be generous.
So here's how the original, there are formats and variations. So in the World Cup use, there's the individual Gunderson, where competition starts with one competition jump from a normal or large hill. Later on the same day, the 10K cross-country race takes place. The winner starts at 0 seconds, and every other athlete starts with a time disadvantage according to their ski jump score. The first to cross the finish line is the winner. Then they total up. Well, I mean, the first to cross the finish line is the winner, and that's basically it.
So you have time to take a nap in between jumping and cross-country skiing?
Well, Nordic Combined started off as a festival. Depending on semantics, is metal or not. But yeah, it was an event that the King of Norway in particular liked. And this festival became an Olympic sport called Nordic Combined.
Indeed.
Holy shit. Here's another reason to hate it. At the 2022 Winter Olympics, Nordic Combined is the only sport with exclusively men's events.
Boo.
Boo. I got a boo sound. I just got to find it.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so it gets a 0. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Good job,
I've
Doug.
spent too much time in the Scandinavian milieu to be able to accept that the Nordic Combined is men only.
Yeah, fuck that. Because
everyone
neither ski jumping nor cross-country skiing is. So why the hell
Because they weren't invited to the festival in 1892.
I feel like a majority of men want to combine with a Nordic. Never mind. Let's move on to ski jumping. So, you get a specially crafted mountain with the right dimensions. By mountain, I mean ramp. And you ski down it. Then at some point, there's a little bump. And you're airborne for a while. And then you land. And then hopefully you went very far. So it sounds like it could be metal. And yeah, you're flying through the air. Yeah, I mean, it's a good medium metal. Now, the first and only ski jump I've ever seen in real life is that of Holmenkollen, which has an important history in black metal. So, and that is in Norway. We did go in the summer, which is less metal. So, I'm gonna combine the Holmenkollen aspect with the flying through the air, but kind of looking like a dork while you do it. It's a 6. That's what it is. And looking at my Nordic Combined score, I feel like the cross-country skiing should have penalized it more, so I'm going to up that to a 6.5. Because I was right about Nordic Combined.
All right, I mean, I'm going to give it a 9. Fuck what people think of how you look. You are hurling yourself into oblivion. And then hoping the hell you land. By choice.
Uh-huh. That's a good point.
I'm going to give it an 8, and that is solely because of the this painting I found of Olaf Rye, which I'm just putting into the chat, who is a Norwegian-Danish military officer who is reputed to be the first ever person to ski jump. And he looks metal as fuck, so I'm going to give that an 8 just for that.
Quick clarification, I didn't deduct for composite materials, so it's an 8 for me, too.
I'll give this a 7 for all the similar reasons listed here. 7 seems about right to me.
I'm not sure what more there is to say. But I do want to say, and this can be said with many of the more dangerous sports on our ledger tonight and in the previous episode, how the hell do you get into this sport? What does a beginner ski jump experience look like? Because these hills are massive, like hundreds and hundreds of feet long, and they're flying meters and meters down that slope after they've launched off the ramp. I've been to the one in Lillehammer as well, and it's just as big as the one at Holmenkollen, and it's such a daunting prospect to stand at the top. Because, Tim, did we go to the top at Holmenkollen, or did we not actually pay to go in?
Paying to go in doesn't sound like something I would have done.
I feel like we didn't. I think we went, but at Lillehammer, I was at the one, you could just walk up, and I did. And looking down, you can see, and the way it's situated in Lillehammer, it's looking down over the town and on the valley that leads down to the lake. So it literally looks like you are going to be flying just right off into the stratosphere across the sea if you were to let yourself slip and slide down that ramp from the top. It's so terrifying. 7.5.
All right. Last
I'm
event.
assuming you use simulators, Dave. Like going to fly a 767.
If only. I mean, if I knew how to make my computer do better things, I would probably be doing that.
All right, final event. Snowboarding. So, it's basically freestyle skiing, but on a snowboard. And as we argued earlier, freestyle skiing is snowboarding on skis. So, I'm gonna deduct a point from my freestyle skiing score so I can add it to my snowboarding score, because that rightfully deserves to be higher than freestyle skiing, even though it is a more punk event. But you mix punk and metal, you get thrash. So I think a 9 is fair.
I exercise my right to challenge that score.
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
Wow. A late game challenge.
On what grounds?
Expound a little bit more as to how snowboarding is metal.
I would refer you to my freestyle skating commentary, and skiing, and just replace skis with snowboards.
And you just sort of
you're flinging yourself, you're spinning yourself. You're probably thrown off by the pictogram of the snowboarder not being upside down.
So there's no structure.
It's the same thing.
You're listening to The Offspring.
These are good arguments, but you could just as easily be listening to Anthrax while you go down the mountain and go up the half pipe. You could be just as easily listening to Exodus while you're grinding on some such. Let's look at James Hetfield from Metallica in 1986, the first time John Marshall had to fill in for him on tour when he broke his wrist skateboarding. What is skateboarding but snowboarding with wheels?
And what happened to Metallica the one time they did the hell whatever they wanted? Saint Anger.
No, I would argue
Lulu.
That's not what they wanted. Lulu was what they wanted. They wanted to make generic background bullshit. Well, so the problem with Lulu isn't Metallica, it's Lou Reed. Go listen to it. There's a lot of almost good enough to be on the EP that came after Death Magnetic. That's what Lulu is. But then it's ruined by this old guy talking a bunch of bullshit over it. Lou Reed is what ruins Lulu. Lulu would just be a bunch of editing room floor bullshit that wasn't good enough to be on an album, but it got its notoriety and atrociousness from Lou Reed. It wasn't Metallica's fault.
And it should also have been called Lou-talica.
I have fond memories of going to the Snowcore 2004 tour featuring Helmet and Chevelle. And I love Helmet, but despite what Metal Archive says, they're not metal. They may be white, but they're not metal.
So,
wow.
The fact that I didn't go to that kind of negates your argument.
Yeah, exactly. Because it wasn't metal, so you weren't there.
Oh, you raise good points, and and speaking of points, I'm gonna give you 2 of those metal points for giving me a hard time, and I'm gonna take those 2 points from freestyle skiing and from snowboarding.
Wow. But I don't think you're entirely wrong. I think snowboarding is much more metal than freestyle skiing. For example, freestyle skiing is biting snowboarding. It's being a poser. Snowboarding, or snurfing, as I prefer to call it, which is apparently the original name of snowboarding. And if they had just made a fist and gone with snurfing, this would be a solid 7. You could be listening to thrash metal, but I doubt, Shaun White, who is better known as that Rocky Dennis guy. I think it could be metal. It's not actually so metal.
Okay, you brought up Shaun White, so I Googled what songs does Shaun White listen to while he rides rides half pipe from unofficialnetworks.com, dated February 12th, 2018. I have not read this. Let's see.
Okay, this will determine everything.
All right. Thin Lizzy, the boys are back in town. That's proto metal.
Proto metal.
That's proto metal.
All right. Cage the Elephant, Ain't No Rest for the Wicked. Roxy
Not
Music,
metal.
Love is the Drug. Is that it? That's it. Okay. So Shaun White is not listening to metal. You make a fantastic point.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
almost listening to metal. It started off promising, but then he shit the bed.
Yeah.
All right. He apparently has a band.
All right, so for that, I'm going to give you, Matt, 2 points, and I retract one of my fuck yous from earlier. So I'm going to...
Nice.
And again, I'm going to give you those points from snowboarding and freestyle skiing.
And just for the record, Body Count is still not on Metal Archives, and Helmet still is.
Unbelievable.
That's even more ridiculous.
Change.org petition. Please go sign it.
All right, so
if you can't find it, it's because Dave hasn't made it yet.
Yeah, that's right. No, it's just...
I'd like to
to
take one of Tim's strategies here. I'm going to reduce my freestyle skiing score to 3.5 because I think that snowboarding should be higher than freestyle skiing, but I also think snowboarding is stupid. So I'm going to give it a 4. And I think snowboarding is stupid because Shaun White annoys the hell out of me. The end.
Shaun White really blew it. I mean, he could have saved us all.
He could have.
He blew it.
I don't really have a problem with Shaun White. He seems like a surfer guy. Like, Shaw, dude. That's my imitation of a surfer guy.
Snurfer guy.
A snurfer guy. A snurfer.
We need Doug and Dave, and then we can get the fuck out of here.
Hey, you just used that fuck you took back.
I'd apologize, but no, I won't. Fuck you.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have the word freestyle right in the sport. It's a freestyle activity. I'm going to be consistent, 0.
Yes,
love it. All right,
well,
Dave.
I guess I get to make the final comment on snowboarding. Have you guys heard stickers being referred to as slaps?
No.
In today's parlance?
No.
No, because I'm an adult.
It's a thing the kids say.
Like stickers, like you stick on things?
Yeah, like you slap it on there.
Like I got a
slap
cool
a sticker on it.
Dora the Explorer slap for my notebook.
Check out these sweet slaps, bro.
I get it. I just don't.
Yeah, I mean that's slang. It makes sense once it's explained.
It's not devoid of reason.
Right, but it's not. You don't want to go around saying, "Hey, we got the new Eisenmore slaps."
I was going to ask, what slaps are on Steel Resolve right now?
Yeah.
I guarantee you,
none. I just ordered
guarantees.
I ordered Burning Shadows slaps, Eisenmore slaps, and Fade to Black slaps all at the same time. But
man, I can't wait to pick up all those slaps.
I'll be distributing them.
That Mark probably has a whole box of brewery slaps somewhere that he hasn't yet put on his kegs. But at any rate, all of the slaps that I'm used to seeing on snowboard are fish slaps. And there's a...
Oh, no.
When I think about snowboarding on like the elite level, I think Boulder, Colorado, and the points higher up the mountains from there, and that whole like Colorado ethos, and Jagdpanzer. And so snowboarding is something I can imagine Harry the Tyrant and Mark Briotti getting out there and doing on the weekends, which I think is pretty metal. So I think I'm going to match Tim's 7 with a 7 of my own, which is way higher than I scored the freestyle skiing, but I'm all right with that. And that's That's my final thought
Wow.
on Olympic snowboarding.
You're just channeling
Jerry Springer? Yes, I
Jerry
was.
Springer. Thank you.
Take care of yourselves
Take care of
and
yourselves
each other.
and each other.
That's right. I was trying to.
All right.
Mike's gonna leave. I was
No.
I was trying to do some real time analysis, but
I'd like to ask, what sport would you like to see added to the Winter Olympics? Like, if you had to create a sport, what would it be? What would it be that would get you like really excited and really watching?
Mutant League hockey.
yes, I agree with that.
Wait,
See, I was gonna say like snow cliff diving, where you just go off a cliff and you dive into a snowbank. I think that would be pretty fucking awesome.
that
Like an Arctic
sounds
Fox.
that sounds fatal.
So
well, I
there's-
mean, that's part of the sport.
there's a
Not
lot
if
of
the snow is deep enough and not densely packed.
there's a lot of ice at the Winter Olympics. There's no fire. So if they could include fire or lava or, just have it in Iceland. Maybe skate down a volcano.
No,
Brad.
it's lugeing with a flamethrower in front of you to melt the ice. Maybe you could get some extra speed by, I don't know how physics
Hydroplane
work.
down that ice.
You
Yeah.
know, I somewhat along those lines, I do think we need more like winter combat sports. And, like, I don't want to be as crass as saying like Olympic snowball fight, but I'm sure we could imagine some sort of like combat based competition.
Like a battle, so like a
Has
battle
there been
royale.
a military application of sled technology or
Like
luge?
snowmobile races, or like two bobsleds going down the same track and they're just sort of fighting each other.
Yeah, head-to-head bobsledding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plays it Star Trek fighting, like the original series.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. Now we have a copyright strike.
I still want to see.
Thanks.
I still want to see Olympic dog sledding
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
and a variety of classes as well. Like, I'd like to see a race that begins at the opening ceremony. Like, they light the torch and then boom, out of the stadium they go, and they don't come back until the closing ceremony. Like the Iditarod style long form race. And then
Like it
shorter
lasts
form.
the whole Olympics.
The whole Olympics, right? And then shorter form races, maybe a day or two, or maybe like a 25-kilometer race or whatever, interspersed for other teams. That's IOC. If you're listening, clean up your fucking act and also add some dog sledding.
And along those lines, I think like a survival sport. Like I don't think we would want people to necessarily die, but like who can live the longest, like in an igloo with only their cunning. And you could just start at the beginning of the Olympics and you can shoot up a flare and they'll come get you. But it'll be like Survivor Man.
Les Stroud is going to get it for Canada. I like
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm taking a most dangerous game scenario. Not playing for keeps. People don't die, but yeah, each country gets a turn, and then a representative for each country has to hide and cover up their tracks and not get
like
shot.
like
the running
basically Running Man. Also, I'm not quite sure how it's really involved, but I would like to see whaling as an Olympic sport. Like old timey, like going out into a frozen ocean with rowboats and like, can you get a whale? And we could make it like an official robot whale or something. But
Right.
I think whaling skills are pretty Olympic.
And both the most human hunting and whaling need panel scoring.
Yeah, exactly. Just like figure skating.
So you plan.
I think if we're going to have whaling and a robotic whale, there needs to be a judge for the programmer who programs the whale's defensive strategy.
It's a dual competition. So each
the whalers might not win.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's like the country, one country programs the whale, and the other, and it's like a round robin type competition. This is incredible. I cannot wait for the Winter Olympics.
See,
by the way, Matt, I have to bring this up since we won't be talking about it for 3 years. But I love how in Star Trek 4, the whalers in the Pacific are somehow like Norwegian instead of Japanese.
And they also speak Kazakh, which is a landlocked country.
Yeah.
All right, but that's a different episode. All right, let's wrap this up. Let's go through the results. We can just do all of them because there were only 15 events. So the least medal event of the Winter Olympics is cross-country skiing, but we all saw that coming from a mile away. So in 14th place is Nordic Combined. In 13th place is freestyle skiing, which I would disagree with, but as we established, our methods are objective and irrefutable. 12th is curling. 11th is short track spaped skating. 10th is regular speed skating. 9th is snowboarding. 8th is bobsleigh. 7th is figure skating. 6th is ski jumping. 5th is alpine skiing. 4th is ice hockey. 3rd is skeleton. 2nd is biathlon. And your most medal Winter Olympic sport is the luge.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah, it was the luge. Fuck yeah. And on average, to the surprise of absolutely no one, the Winter Olympics are 1.5 medal points more fucking medal than the fucking shit-ass summer Olympics. We did it. We have evaluated all the games of both Olympics. We know that although the Summer Olympics has more medal things such as weightlifting and judo and taekwondo, you're going to be better off watching the fucking Winter Olympics because with a random draw, it's more fucking medal than the Summer Olympics. And like I said, we all knew that coming a mile away. So,
and that's something you can take to the fuck bank.
Yeah. All right. So, thanks for listening. Mash that subscribe button and fucking stab it or something else that's metal.
Pick up the latest slaps at steelresolve.com.
We've got all your slaps.
I gotta change the tagline. We've got all your...
No, I'm quite sure. Yeah.
I'm so old.
Man, I had good momentum going, and then it's been ruined. So let's cut our losses and end it here. Good night, Metal Nation. Enjoy the Winter Olympics, brought to you by NBC, the least metal network.
Fucking slaps.
Yo, you looking forward to those new Eisenmore slaps?
Did you see the new Eisenmore slaps? That's such a mood.
No, they're mood AF. I'm sorry, that's
what I
2 years out of date at this point.
It is? I don't even know what it means.
I don't know. I'm too fucking old too, man.
It's the first time I'm hearing it. What does that say about me?